He dosed up on Turk harder than last time. I think he's in his bear mode. It's the new cycle. And so more people talking about his buzz cut and if Jeff is natural than the amazing video that he's put out. Coach Greg in today's video, the best and worst shoulder exercises. And so we're going to be ranking them from S tier all the way down to F. And to do so, we're going to be watching the newly masked up, looking jacked with the shaved head, Jeff Nippard. Jeff looking tough with that buzz cut. Maybe it's the new haircut, but I swear Jeff is looking massive right now. I guess he was not kidding when he said he'd push to his natural limits this year. And so the people, they're disagreeing. Natural with the side-faced emoji crying. They don't believe he's natural. Bro, you've never been to a gym in your life. Jeff is obviously natural. He dosed up on Turk harder than last time. I think he's in his bear mode. It's the new cycle. Yes, he is natural, he has good genetics, and he is short. He is absolutely not natural, or at least hasn't been for his entire life. Get over yourselves. And so more people talking about his buzz cut and if Jeff is natural than the amazing video that he's put out. And so in case you want me to settle the debate, Jeff is in fact natural. I've already done a video on this. And of course, when you're a manlet like Coach Greg or Jeff Nippard, you don't even have to work out. The muscles, they're just magically bigger than ever. Guys who are short, if you've been to the gym for at least 2 or 3 months, you look like a Mr. Olympia competitor. And so clearly, if you're short, you don't need steroids. You just need to work out once in a while. And I'm being sarcastic. Jeff has been training for half of his life and he's won bodybuilding competitions in the past. And if you saw him in person, in comparison to guys who were truly jacked, you would see how small he really is. And so remember, he's wearing a tank top, he's been training his entire life, he has amazing genetics, and so it's not as difficult as you would think to look like this when you are in fact natural. And so the first exercise he's going to show is the side laterals, focusing on the lateral head as opposed to the front head. That is going to be an exercise you're going to want to do. The muscle that's oftentimes overdeveloped is in fact the front delt. Many people are doing the bench presses, shoulder presses, and so on. And so they're already going to have a lot of development in the front. And so any exercise that focuses on the side head is going to give you that elusive X frame. You want to have the shoulders as wide as possible. And so side laterals, an excellent exercise to include.
Dumbbell lateral raise. Now, because the side delts are more important for developing an X-frame physique with a tapered look, you'll probably notice that I do slightly favor exercises that target the side delt.
And so I 100% agree with Jeff. Focus on the side delt way more than the front.
Don't reach peak tension until your arms are at 90 degrees when the delts are most shortened. But despite this limitation, they'll still clearly grow your shoulders. Because of the slightly suboptimal tension curve, I'm putting these in B tier.
And so Jeff puts this in the B tier because there are in fact better exercises to focus on the lateral head, especially in the stretch position. Now myself, I'm putting it in the A tier as it is very efficient. It's very easy to perform. You can do it with dumbbells, you could do it at home, you can do it anywhere. And so due to the fact that it's so easy to perform, that it's very effective, that it manages both time efficiency and ease of use, the fact that everyone can do it, whether you're beginner, advanced, young and or old, I gotta give it in the A tier. And so yeah, there are in fact better exercises.
The lean in dumbbell lateral raise is going in A tier. Leaning away might shift some emphasis away from the muscles of the rotator cuff and onto the lateral delt. I'm putting these in B tier as well.
And so whether you're leaning in or leaning away, doing side laterals, one arm at a time, I'm putting it in the B tier. The reason for that, you're doing one arm at a time, it's going to take you a lot longer to perform the exercise. And so for me, I'm not a fan. If you have plenty of time in the gym, however, and you can do one arm at a time, you're not training your entire body every day you go to the gym the way I am, by all means, you can leave it in the A tier.
The Super ROM lateral raise. I picked these up from Dr. Mike Israetel when we trained shoulders together, and man, they definitely lit my delts up. I'm putting the Super ROM lateral raise in B tier.
Up next, the Super ROM, that means range of motion, lateral range. You're literally going all the way up. I'm giving this a D. Almost a fail. I do not believe that this is a great exercise to perform. Now, perhaps it's because I'm not that flexible, but even with no weights in my hands, once I get to here, I'm having a hard time. And so I see no purpose of trying to lift the bar straight over my head. Also, you're going to have to reduce the weight tremendously. Jeff Nippard is only lifting 10 pounds. And so although you're thinking, well, you're going through the full range of motion, you're not able to lift nearly as heavy a weight. And so personally, I'd rather see you focus on standing side laterals the regular way. Save these for Mike Israetel.
Like all I feel is rage.
All things considered, I think I like the barbell overhead press more than a lot of science-based hypertrophy heads, but I think I like it less than some power building purists. I'm putting it in B tier plus.
Up next, the overhead press. Although it's working the shoulders, all three heads, it's focusing a lot more on the front. And remember, we're trying to build that X-frame. We're trying to focus on the side. Next, you're standing up. You're gonna have to use your lower back. You're gonna have to keep yourself stable. And so you're wasting a lot of energy. And so because it's more difficult to perform, there's more risk of injury, it's more dangerous, and the fact there are so many better exercises, I'm giving this one a C. Now, if you're training at home and you don't have a lot of variety, you don't have any machines and so on, I can easily see this going up to a B. But my personal opinion is rather to be sitting down to focus on your shoulders, to leave your egos at the door, and not have to focus so much on lifting heavy weights over your head.
If you switch the barbell out for dumbbells, I think a few things improve. I'm gonna put these in A tier.
Next up, dumbbell overhead press. I'm giving this an A. You're sitting down, you have more stability, you can go down lower, you can contract at the top, you're working more on the side head rather than the front, and so it's gotta be an A.
The machine shoulder press is a personal favorite. It's going in A tier plus.
Next up, machine shoulder press. This I'm doing every time I'm training shoulders. It's giving this one an S. This, to me, is a must. Unless you're training at home, you don't have access to a machine, I see no reason why you wouldn't be using machine shoulder press. You don't have to balance the weight. You don't have to get those 100-pound dumbbells onto your thighs. You're getting a deep stretch. You're contracting at the top. You have great control throughout the exercise. And so, to me, that's about as good as you can get. And so, Jeff ranks it as A tier plus. He says it's the best exercise you can do for the front deltoid.
I'll call it the Arnold-style side-lying dumbbell raise. It looks a bit odd, but I actually really like it. I'm putting these in A tier.
Next up, Arnold-style side-lying dumbbell raises. Look, automatically I'm lowering the grade because you're doing it one arm at a time. Next, you have to balance yourself on a bench, and it's very difficult to perform. And so yes, you're getting a lot of tension at the bottom, and so I can't give it too low a grade, and so I'm giving this one a B. Now, if you could somehow do both arms at the same time, I'd give it an A. But because of the time it takes, the difficulty and so on, the best I can give this one is a B.
For the record, front raises of any kind, so dumbbell, cable, or machine, are all going in D tier.
And give it an F. Front raises, as you know, work in the front deltoid. I believe it's overtrained. I believe it's redundant. I believe there's no reason to add this to your training, aside from the fact that it looks cool. When people do front raises in the gym, they're oftentimes in a tank top looking shredded. You can see all the striations. And so to me, this is a vanity exercise to see yourself, to check yourself out in the gym. But if you're looking to build the delts, this one's a waste, giving this one an F.
The Atlantis standing machine lateral raise is amazing because it feels so smooth. It's very close to S tier, but I'm gonna tentatively knock it back to A tier plus.
Atlantis standing machine lateral raise, giving this one an A. Similar to the side laterals, you simply doing it on a machine. And so if the machine is present and you wanna change your training, mix things up, rather than doing side laterals with a dumbbell, by all means do it with this machine. And remember, you can do both arms at the same time, so I'm giving this one an A.
The seated machine lateral raise is similar, and I include it as well. I think they're in between A tier and B tier. I'll be picky and say B tier.
Up next, seated machine lateral raise, giving this one an A. If you have the machine and you have sore wrists, elbows, and so on, it's a great exercise. You're essentially doing the exact same motion as you would be with dumbbells, except the machine, it's on your arms. And so it takes away some of the strain at the elbow and or wrist. And so perhaps you're injured, you have tennis elbow and so on. Great exercise, giving this one an A.
You really can't go wrong with a cable lateral raise, whether you do them with a standard D handle or with cuffs. And that's why they're going straight to S tier. In fact, I would say this is my favorite side delt exercise of all.
And so Jeff's number one exercise for the side delt, the cable lateral raise. He has this at S tier. Now, you know me, I don't enjoy doing it with one arm at a time. Now, if you convert this exercise and do both arms at the same time, I would give it an S tier. Now, because he's doing one arm at a time, I'm going to lower this one and give it a B. I hate doing one arm at the same time. Now, again, if you have all the time in the world and you don't mind training longer than last time, absolutely can see you giving it an S.
The cable Y raise actually gives you an even bigger range of motion where you sweep the cable up and out and back. And it's also going in S tier.
And so regardless of the choice of lateral exercise you're doing with the cables, I'm giving it a B. If, however, you do both arms at the same time, I'm giving it an S. And so you can, of course, vary your position. There's several different forms of side laterals you can do with cables. Take your pick. Watch Jeff Nippard's video. I'm giving it a B for me, but for you, you might consider it an S. Now, if you're doing both arms at the same time, I'm putting it all the way up to the S tier.
The upright row is definitely an overhated exercise. I'm gonna put these in B tier as a delt builder.
And next up, upright row, I'm giving it a C. There are far greater exercises to perform. Many people have said this is bad for your wrist. It's gonna cause pain, shoulder injuries, and so on. I don't believe this exercise is as dangerous as some people made it out to be, but I do believe there are better exercises. I'm giving this one a C.
The reverse pec deck is an amazing rear delt exercise. My instinct is to put these in A tier, but I think if you can lock in that sideways position, they deserve to be in S tier.
Thank you. Reverse pec deck. If you're doing both arms at the same time, I'm giving this one an A. Notice Jeff says he does prefer doing one arm at a time sitting sideways, but then it takes a lot longer. And so you see, he agrees. There is a limitation of doing one arm at a time, and that is it takes longer. And so it takes longer to get in the volume. You may in fact be less motivated because you're doing one arm at a time. And so that is the disadvantage. And so I find it very difficult to give an exercise in S tier if you're doing one arm at a time. S is the best of the best. The best of the best should allow an exercise to be time efficient. For example, which of the following is an S tier cardio burning exercise? Walking on a flat versus walking on an incline. Well, both exercises burn calories. Both exercises you could enjoy, but walking is not even close to S tier, giving it a C. Not nearly as good. But if you're walking up on an incline, I can give that one an S. And why? Because you can burn far more calories in less time. You're walking, you're moving your body up a hill, and so consider the fact that you're saving on time, it's going to give it a better rating. And so to the same extent, if you can get your workout done faster, should that not give it a better rating? And so my opinion, whenever you're doing one arm at a time, it's not an S tier exercise.
The rope face pull will target the rear delts really well. Rope face pulls are going in A tier for rear delt growth.
And so standing rope face pulls, I'm giving this one a B. It's a very difficult exercise to perform with intensity, to stabilize your core, your abdominals, and so on while pulling up to your head, while keeping great form, being consistent throughout the exercise. I find this very difficult, and most people perform this wrong. And so due to the fact that technically it's a harder exercise to perform, that you need more stability, I'm giving this one a B. Now, my personal preference is to do them lying on the ground. If you're lying on the ground doing the exact same exercise, a lot easier. Less stability is required, less core engagement. You can focus on those rear delts. And so I'm giving that exercise an A.
Bent over reverse dumbbell flies, they'd probably be in A tier, but because there's not quite enough tension in the stretch, I've got to knock them back to B tier.
And bent over laterals, I do like this exercise, but I feel there's no reason to rest so long between sets. When I perform these exercises, I'll do them after doing side laterals. I enjoy supersetting these exercises. And so on its own, the fact that there's no tension at the bottom, I'm gonna have to give this one a C. But if you're doing this exercise after doing side laterals when you're already fatigued, I'm gonna bump this exercise up to an A.
All right, the reverse cable crossover. Amazing stretch on your rear delts. These are amazing, and they're easily going into S tier. And that also makes them the third reveal behind door number 3.
And so reverse cable laterals, you can see this is going to be a great exercise. You have tension throughout at the start and at the bottom. You don't need as much balance during this exercise. And so we're giving this one an S. Jeff Nippard himself saying it's the best exercise that you can do to hit your rear delts.
And if I had to pick one exercise as the best of the best for overall shoulder development, I think I'd go with the cable lateral raise.
And so Jeff's best of the best overall most important exercise of all of them, he's picking side laterals one arm at a time with cables. For me, I'm I'm picking the machine shoulder press. If I had one exercise for shoulders that I could do for the rest of my life, and that's all I could do, had no time for anything else, I'm picking the machine shoulder press. I'm not picking doing one cable arm lateral at a time. Simply not hard enough for me. I want to do shoulder presses overhead using the machine. Remember, if you're trying to stay natural like Jeff Nippard and get as jacked as he is, consider using Turk Builder and GO2 Max. GO2 Max for improved cardio, Turk Builder for more aggression, train harder than last time in the gym, and trust me, you will notice its effects. I'm so confident that we have a money-back guarantee for both Turk Builder and GO2 Max. And so try it risk-free. You're thinking, I don't believe it works. It's because you haven't tried it. You might have tried turkesterone from another company, but that probably means there was no turkesterone in it. But at HDLT Supplements, third-party testings, we use turkesterone from Uzbekistan, not the cheap stuff from China. And so once you use it, you will be a believer. Code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like this video if you liked it. Watch one of the two bloops. Don't forget about the cookbook 3.1. We have various cookbooks, PDF and hard copy, as well as the Circle Diet Book, My Life's Work, How to Lose Weight, Keep It Off for the Rest of your life. The training books, of course, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. And if you need coaching plans by me and my team, get over to the website. If you have no money whatsoever, none at all, you get to the website and you get a free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. Have multiple choices to choose from. Have multiple plans based on your own caloric needs. So get over there, join the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.